Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. Happy Wednesday morning. I am not Christina and I am not Dustin, but my name is Alan. I'm here with you on, Wednesday for Jerry on Ice. Jumping on here on Wednesday for the first time, talking about some older adult stuff, stealing the microphone from Dustin and Christina. The pleasure of serving as the COO of Ice and teaching over in our fitness athlete division as a faculty member. Before we get started, Gut Check Thursday. You all voted yesterday on Facebook and Instagram for your own movements. So that's coming out tonight at 6 Eastern on Facebook and Instagram. So look forward to that one. That one should be one that if you're creative, you can probably adjust some of the movements and actually get that in the clinic and dose that one out to some patients. A little bit of overhead strength movement, some cardio movements should be something that you can scale and modify for your patients and give them a little bit of a 10-minute dose of high-intensity exercise tomorrow morning. So what are we talking about today? I'll start with what kind of the inspiration for this topic, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper. So I see a couple patients in the afternoons at an assisted living facility and basically just take kettlebells and bands and make them do CrossFit essentially. Nothing wrong with them except they have a lack of strength disease. And so about 2 weeks ago this Thursday, I was leaving my session, walking out the front door of the facility, and not my patient, but just a gal who happens to live there took a spill on the floor. And I was surprised, not surprised, very angry is the better term, angry that all the folks who work there, all the other rehab professionals and medical professionals and facility operators, first of all, let her fall. We know falls happen, but the way she fell could have been avoided. But more importantly, did not have a plan to get her off the floor and did not have the physical capacity to execute that plan once I helped talk them through how we were going to get this gal off the floor. And it really struck me as kind of alarming that if I didn't happen to be there walking out of the door at that time, what would have happened to this woman. And probably what would have happened is they would have just called 911, which is a way to help an older adult off the floor, but certainly not the best way, not the most efficient way, not the most time efficient way, not the most money efficient way, versus just understanding how to help somebody transfer off the floor and actually having the physical capacity yourself to execute that, which in a group of about 10 people just standing around staring lost in space, we're not able to do. And she was not a heavy lady. She was a very light lady on the side of frail. Maybe that's why she fell. And so it was kind of alarming to me, and it actually upset me a lot that these folks did not have a plan and could not get this lady off the floor. And I actually lost my temper a little bit, scolded them a little bit once we got this gal back off the floor and back standing up to her walker that you need to get better at your job. You need to understand how to get these folks off the floor. Calling 911 is not the go-to. You should understand how to transfer these folks, but you should also have the strength to get these folks off the floor. So at Modern Management Early Adult, the live course that Dustin and Christina teach, they spend Sunday afternoon with floor transfer. So it's important to know the mechanics of how to get somebody off the floor, but also actually have the strength to execute that. Dustin and Christina teach a bunch of different ways. Probably the easiest setup-wise is to help somebody to quadruped, use some gait belts, and essentially deadlift them up into a quarter lunge position, and then use a chair or a piece of furniture to then transfer to sitting. And if you know what you're doing and you have the strength to execute it, it goes pretty easy. But these folks just could not get the job done. So I think that's a really big issue. Often, we preach here fitness forward, being in good shape and being strong, but we get some pushback and say, well, we can't all have six packs and huge muscles, and then we're getting confused between functional strength and the ability to actually do your job and looking nice on the beach. And those two can be related, but they don't have to be. getting in the gym and doing some strength training yourself, especially if you're going to be working with these older adults, is I would argue essential. If you're going to be working with older adults, you should be helping them transfer on and off the floor so that they're comfortable doing it, but also have the strength and capacity yourself if they do happen to take a spill to help them off the floor. And when you know what you're doing and you have the strength to execute it, it really takes a lot of fear away from them because it seems like you know what you're doing, which you actually do. So don't get confused that we have to look nice with our shirts off versus having the strength to do our job. I think my second point here is that translates really well into selling exercise is something that our older adult patients need to be doing. When you actually do it yourself and you're practicing what you preach, and you talk to your patients that this is stuff that you actually do on your own when they ask, why are you making me do these squats with this kettlebell or doing these deadlift things with this kettlebell or these dumbbells? Like, why do I have to do this? Well, it will translate very, very well into improvements in function. And then you can have that conversation that, hey, this is stuff that I do too. This is the stuff that keeps me strong, keeps me healthy, keeps me from falling over and being independent and doing all the things I want to do. And that if you do these things, we can increase your strength, improve your function, be able to get you to stand up from a chair on your own, be able to help you actually get down on the floor, get up from the floor. A lot of our folks may want to get back to gardening in a kneeling or half kneeling position, or be able to lay on the floor. When you actually talk to these older adult patients, you find some of them have not been on the floor in a long time, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. They will tell you, I've not actually laid on the floor in quite some time. And so having the strength to practice with them, practice these motions, transferring on and off the floor, to and from a chair from the floor, goes a long way improving their confidence, their function, and not surprisingly, their long-term health outcomes. So I think it's really, really important that we are strong ourselves, that we are in the gym or in the garage or in the basement, wherever you can get it done in the clinic, doing things like squats and deadlifts to build up our own functional strength so that we are not that person who avoids practicing these things with our patients, or if the time happens to come that somebody does experience a fall, we're not able to help them, and we're that healthcare provider that's calling 911 so the fire department can send over some heavy dudes to pick somebody up off the floor for us. So we have to recognize that being in shape, there's your air quotes quota for the day, does not necessarily mean looking good as much as performing good and being able to do your job. I think that goes a long, long way to selling patients on this as well and getting patient buy-in. So that's what I had for today. Short and sweet. I think it's really, really important that we're able to do this. Something that struck me, I went to Dustin Christina's course in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago to kind of audit it and give them feedback. And sitting in the back of the room at the end of Sunday, Dustin and Christina asked the students to go around the room and ask them what are your thoughts in reflection on this weekend. What do you think you have learned? And a gal in the back stood up and she said, I think what I've learned the most is that I'm not in shape enough, I'm not physically strong enough to help these patients and be able to do the things that they need to be able to do and help them do that, help them practice transfers, help them practice squats and deadlifts and more functional movements and carries. I'm not strong enough myself. I need to get in the gym and get stronger so that I can better help my patients, which was really profound to hear, and I'm glad she shared that because after she stood up and said that, a lot of other people were nodding their heads and agreeing that they could get a lot stronger and that would help them better help their own patients. So chew on that, not needing to have a six-pack with your shirt off, but being able to deadlift somebody off the ground or at least to a lunge position if they happen to fall or they want to practice getting down and off the floor. Again, a reflection from that course. A big old guy and a tiny gal were practicing that transfer in the back of the room, and he pretty much power cleaned her using the gate belt technique, skipped the deadlift and just power cleaned her to her shoulders and sat her in a chair, which was a little bit funny, but just goes to show you that if you're really, really strong, than helping somebody transfer off the floor or getting them off the floor is not too hard of a task if you're strong yourself. So chew on that. Let me know your thoughts. I'm always intrigued to know the motivation when we do get pushback on why we argue that physical therapists should exercise and move themselves. I'm interested to hear the rationale against that. So throw those thoughts on here. Shoot me an email. Be happy to talk about that some more. Really quick, courses coming up. It's not too late to join Justin this weekend for Total Spine Thrust down in Baton Rouge at Delta PT. That is a fantastic crew. That is a fantastic place connected to a big old gym. If you're going to that course, you're going to have a great time. So not too late to jump into that course. Speaking of Jerry on Ice on Wednesdays here, Modern Management of the Older Adult, the 8-week online course just started Monday. If you send us an email and beg us, we can slide you in if you don't mind hustling to get caught up in this first week of class here. If not, that next class starts January 6th. Jeff will be in Birmingham, Alabama next weekend for lumbar spine management. We have professional bike fitting coming up October 12th and 13th. That's a great class, very small class. Learn how to fit somebody to a bike and address cycling-related injuries with Jason London up in Minneapolis. And then some online courses starting at the end of the month. And next month, September 29th, next week, Clinical Management of the Fitness Athlete, Advanced Concepts with Mitch and Zach starts. And then October 14th, we have a whole bunch of courses starting out of network Step by Step with Sarah, Clinical Management of the Fitness Athlete, Essential Foundations with yours truly and Mitch. And then don't forget, go to ptnice.com, scroll to the bottom, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter, free every Wednesday morning. If you're not signed up, you missed today's. It went out already. Our top 5 articles that we've been reading through in the recent literature and some social media posts that we think you should look at, just keeping you up to speed on what's going on in PT and current research. And then don't forget about Virtual Ice, our online mentorship group, $29 a month, 24 CEUs if you do the entire year, weekly sessions every Tuesday night covering a broad topic of physical therapy, ideas and topics. So check out Virtual Ice as well when you're on the website. Other than that, get out there, have a good hump day. We'll see you all next time. Enjoy your Wednesday. Make sure that you hit gut check.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our Virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.